All right, Nick, let me just start with you. What was your reaction to these moves?
Well, listen, as far as the AD news, which just broke, I think it's going to have surprised a lot of people, but it shouldn't have. I think a lot of the NBA thought Anthony Davis was going to sign a 2+1, meaning a contract that would take him through years 9 and 10. Then he'd be a free agent after year 10, be able to get, you know, the increase in salary you can get being a 10-year player in this league. I said on this show a few weeks ago, I reported a few weeks ago, that I was told by someone who 1,000% would know he's either going as short as possible or as long as possible, meaning Anthony Davis was considering 2 contracts, a 1+1 or this contract he just signed, a 5-year deal, which is really a 4+1, tie him to the Lakers as long as he possibly can be tied to them. And this is right after LeBron James tied himself to the Lakers as long as he, according to the CBA, is allowed to be tied to them. Given his age, it gets complex on that. But LeBron's extension he signed is the longest he's allowed to sign. These 2 guys understand they are the favorites to win the title this coming season. And there is no reason they will not be the favorites or one of the very, very short list of co-favorites or near favorites over the next few years. So why go anywhere? You're in arguably the most livable city in America if you're rich. You are in a place that is the most attractive destination, not only for free agents, but also for veteran minimum guys chasing a ring. And you've got the best player in the league and the best big in the league, who seem to really like each other. So this was something of a no-brainer. It would have been surprising if Anthony Davis didn't do this. LeBron had never signed an extension at any point in his career except for his rookie extension. He kind of got the ball rolling, and AD then followed suit. And this is great news for Laker fans and a pretty big bummer for most of the rest of the league, Brandon.
Yeah. So we're supposed to be talking about LeBron James signing his extension. That's our topic around basketball today. That's what it was supposed to be. So when I saw that, you know, LeBron extension 2 for 85, the first thing I thought about was, and it wasn't shocking. To me, it wasn't breaking news. We knew that. A lot of the talk about LeBron James going to Los Angeles because this is the end of his career and he's ready to start transitioning into life after basketball. So the movies and his son's in high school and he loves LA, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when I saw that, the very first thing I thought about was, where's AD? Why is this taking so long? And when you look at Windhorst and what he's been reporting and diving deep behind it, it's this kid was really looking at spreadsheets and really studying the salary cap to figure out, well, how does this deal set me up for the rest of my life? Not just from a financial standpoint, but with the salary cap, how is this going to play out the next couple years? And what is the deal after that and after that going to look like for me? So I think we're, like you said, Nick, we're not shocked by this. We knew it was going to get done. But for me, I was getting anxious. Like, why is it taking so long, Wilds? Like, we know that everything Nick said is so true. You are the favorites. You're coming off of a championship. You have the greatest player in the sport, maybe ever. So why aren't you getting the deal done? So I'm glad that it happened. And it seems like he positioned himself very well after studying all them spreadsheets and figuring out how this is going to set him up for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah, well, look, the Lakers are going to be relevant for a long time. They always have been. They always will be. The Lakers have been to the finals for 32 years of the NBA's existence. Basically, they win the it means they go to the finals every other year. They win it about once every 3 years. So, once every 4 years. Do the math. So, Nick, look long term. Something special about a big man in a Lakers uniform. What do you think AD's ceiling is? From the 4 Laker greats, Shaq, Wilt, Kareem, and now AD. How high can he go? Can he overtake those guys? I don't think you think he's better than any of those guys right now. But what would he have to do to say, let's get over? I don't even know how you want to rank those guys. But he's on that little Mount Rushmore.
It's easy to rank them.
Big men already.
It's easy to rank them. So Kareem, Wilt, Shaq, and then a big gap, and then Anthony Davis.
Okay.
If we're, you know, it's funny you asked me that. I'm working on something that I've been working on for, I don't know, the last 70 hours over the last few months, which is the 50 best players of the last 50 years. And you know who found himself on that list? Anthony Davis. came in, I think, 37th.
Wow.
And you might say he hadn't done enough
Really?
yet, but he really has. He's already made 4 first-team All-NBAs. He was the second-best player on a champion.
Felt like
He's had
39.
monster playoff moments. He's never had a bad playoff series. And so, unfortunately, when you're talking about passing those other guys, Wilt obviously wasn't over the last 50 years. Kareem is 3rd. Shaquille O'Neal is 9th? Yeah, 9th. So, I mean, it's a high mountain to climb to get up there. But I would say Anthony Davis, without... I mean, listen, Shaq's got 4 rings. He's got a league MVP. He had one of the most dominant stretches ever. Go ahead.
So I don't think if they go back to back, if they win this one and they find themselves potentially doing a three-peat, or just in that discussion, like, okay, maybe they make it back and they lose, he could potentially be alongside of Shaq and Wilt. And like, why not? Because it comes down to championship. His game is so smooth. It's not, you know, the old traditional big man game, Wilds. But this dude, like you said, Nick, he is a top 50 player of all time. So now if you add a few championships to that, I think he's alongside of those guys, 100%. And he's one of the faces of the Lakers organization forever.
So 2 things, one related to this, one totally unrelated. The related thing is people, because Anthony Davis has been in the league for so long, people think he's older than he is. When this contract is over, he'll be 31. So the idea, he just signed a 5-year extension that he can opt out of after 4 years. If he were to do that, he'll be 31 re-entering free agency. So he's got, maybe 10 playoff runs left in him. So so the ceiling, it's almost impossible to place on it. But I want to take this car and turn it in a totally different direction, because there is, I said intentionally, this is bad news for nearly every other fan base. Let me tell you what fan base this morning this is amazing news for. The Milwaukee Bucks. Because what the Los Angeles Lakers have told the entire league is, we think Giannis is staying. Because Giannis, the possibility of Giannis coming to LA, his brother's there. He just gave a long interview to a journalist. And there was a possibility, if LeBron didn't sign the extension, if Anthony Davis just signed a 1+1 and then opted out and then LeBron opts out, that they could have, in theory, brought Giannis over as a free agent if everyone's willing to take a little bit less to then create what would be the most dominant super team in modern NBA history, in ever NBA history. These 2 contract extensions end that permanently. So I don't know if the Lakers know that Giannis is signing his supermax, which I think he is, and I've been told the league believes he is, but they know they're not in the sweepstakes. That if he's not signing the supermax, if he is going to be available, it's Dallas, Miami, Toronto. It's not going to be the Lakers, Wilds, because these 2 deals slam the door shut permanently on Giannis ever becoming a Laker.
Yeah, I never thought that was a real thing. And I thought the Photoshops looked nice. Maybe the Heat, the Giannis to the Heat rumors feel like they have a little more of a pulse, but I never bought the Giannis to the Lakers rumors at all. Now, the other question is this. When are we going to see Anthony Davis on the floor without LeBron? You think LeBron retires a Laker, or are we going to see Anthony Davis and LeBron play against each other ever, Nick? Go into your crystal ball. Does Anthony Davis and LeBron ever play against each other ever again?
There's only one scenario.
So, so the scenario. I'll go in my crystal ball later.
What a tease! What a tease!
We'll go into it later.
All right. It was a tease to me as well. Once again, Anthony Davis signs a 5-year, $190 million deal with the Lakers. Much more on this still to come, both his deal and LeBron, both of their extensions, his and LeBron's. Chris Broussard will join us next to break it all down, and then we can dive into that crystal ball next. First.